Alright, please title your page Point Slope to Slope-Intercept, and don't forget to include the page number in the top corner of your page, and then also the date. So let's take a look at our first example. We'll call it 1A. And so we're given an equation in point slope form, and we're going to rewrite it in a slope-intercept form. So point slope form we've worked with before is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. In slope-intercept form is just y equals mx plus b. And so all we have to do is we just need to do the math on this and get y by itself, and then it'll be in slope-intercept form. So let's look at the first one. So we have a number next to parentheses we're going to distribute. And so that's going to give us negative 9x. And then that negative times a positive is going to give us a negative 36. And then on the left, we didn't do anything, so we just rewrite it. And so if we look at what we want our answer to be, see how it's just y by itself. So we want the y to stay here, and so we just need to move that minus 4 to both sides. So we add 4 to both sides. This gives us a 0, so we don't need it anymore. So it's just y equals negative 9x. And so I have a negative and a positive. I have more negative, so my answer is going to stay negative. When the signs are different, we subtract. So 36 minus 4 gives us 32. And so that's our answer. So go ahead and title this one 1B. And you're going to try this one on your own. Just do the same steps. Distribute the 5. And then you're going to move that number over. And we want our answer to say y equals something. So pause the video and try it on your own. Alright, so if you distributed, you should have came up with 5x minus 5. And then just rewrite the y minus 2 because there is no math to do. Now we add 2 to both sides. That isolates the y. So this becomes 0. So y equals 5x. Now negative 5 plus 2. Again, we have more negative, so it's going to stay negative. And then 5 minus 2 is 3. Alright, our next example is going to be 2a. The steps are the same. Is we have the fraction on the outside, and we're just going to distribute that in. Remember that when it's x, it's just really 1. And so this is just going to be negative 4/3 times 1, which is just negative 4/3 x. Notice I put the negative on top with the 4. And so now we have a minus, we have a plus, and so that's going to give us a negative. So now we're really doing 4/3 times 3, which is really just 3 over 1, which becomes 12 over 3, and 12 divided by 3 equals 4. So this right side, negative 4/3 times positive 3, just gives us minus 4. And the shortcut here is when the denominator matches the number it's being multiplied by, you can cancel them out. So now we have y minus 5 on the left, and our last step is just to move the 5 over. And rewrite it, so this becomes 0. We get y equals a negative 4/3 x. Now we have more positives, and 5 minus 4 is 1. Alright, 2b. You're going to try on your own. Same thing, distribute, and then move the 5 over. So pause the video and try it on your own. Alright, let's see if you got it right. So we're going to distribute that negative 1/4 in. So we get y plus 5 equals negative 1/4 x. Now we have a negative times a negative, which equals a positive. And 1/4 times the 4. Remember, the shortcut, the 4's are going to cancel, and you're left with the top. Gives us 1. Now we minus the 5 over. This becomes 0. So we get y equals negative 1/4 x. Now we have more negatives. 5 minus 1 is 4. Alright, our last problem is going to be a little bit more difficult because of the fraction. So you can see the 7 and the 2 are not going to cancel. But it doesn't change our steps. Steps are always the same. So we're going to start by distributing. And so since this is a 1 in front, it makes it kind of easy. So negative 5/7 times 1 gives us negative 5/7 x. Now we got to do negative 5/7 times 2. And we can just go ahead and take care of the signs now. So the negative times a positive gives us a negative. And now we need to do 5/7 times 2. Well, you can do it one of two ways. So on your yellow calculator, we can do 5/7. And so if you want to get the fraction, hit Control Divide, and that gives you a fraction. So let's do 5/7 times 2, and that gives us 10/7. So this is 10/7. So now let's look and see how the calculator got that answer. Like we did before, that 2 is really over 1. And when you multiply, you just multiply straight across. And so 5 times 2 is 10. 7 times 1 is 7. So now I'll bring down the left side, the y minus 4. And so now we add 4 to both sides. So this gives us a 0. So we have y equals negative 5/7 x. So now we need to add negative 10/7 plus 4. And this is a good time to use our calculator again. So we want negative 10/7, so we're just going to go Control Divide, hit the negative button, 10 over 7, and then plus 4. So now this should look like what we wrote on our paper. We hit enter, and we get 18/7. So it's a positive, so this would be plus 18/7.